My name's Zach, and I make indie pop music under the name Fanski. Welcome to my new series where we take a deep dive into one of the songs off Help Selfing, my new record set to release on August 2nd. Let's get started.
Make you want to run, hide yourself away from the sun. And judging by the quivering sound in your voice, the shaking in your fingers, the beating of the sweat upon your brow, we got our work cut out for us now. Pay attention to the horizon.
So starting June 14th, every Friday, I'm going to release one song off of Help Selfing, culminating in the full release on August 2nd. Each of those singles will be accompanied by a video like the one you're watching today, going into more detail about the background of the song. If at any time you want to just jump the line and buy the record, you can actually do that. Just go to my Bandcamp, which I'll have linked below, and you can purchase it. To anyone who does decide to buy the record, I just want to say thank you so much for doing that. I really appreciate any amount of time that you're willing to give me on this project. It all means a lot, and I greatly appreciate your contribution to this project of mine. If that's not really an option for you, no worries at all. Every Friday you'll have something to look forward to, and all of the singles will be on all streaming platforms, so you can find them there too. If you haven't already, make sure you follow me on any social media that you try not to use. And I think that's it, so let's get started. So the first song we're going to talk about is the first song on the record. It's called Away from the Sun. It's actually the newest song out of all of the songs on this record. I wrote it within the past year. So the general theme for this song is mental health. You know, mental health has been a very topical subject. I too struggle with some of these issues from time to time. And so this song is kind of a gift to myself, you know, working through some of these issues, you know, with a therapist in hopes that I will remember in those times of stress and anxiety and depression and things of that nature. So it could be helpful for anyone, but that was kind of the intention behind it. I really wanted to write a song that was traditionally a pop song. You know, Fleet Foxes, Fleetwood Mac, The Shins, even just everything by the book. I wanted it to have a nice message. I wanted it to be melodically pleasing and catchy, but I wanted it obviously to sound like me, and I wanted it to be about something that I thought was important. So that's where we are with this song. It's a traditional pop song with all of the features that you would expect to find in a pop song. So this song in particular was written from the perspective of a therapist or a good friend talking to their patient or friend, trying to help guide them through whatever they're going through. So why don't we start at the beginning once again and focus on the feelings inside of you that make you want to run, hide yourself away from the sun. From the perspective of the therapist, let's say, we are helping our patient take a look at what's going on deeper within our negative thoughts, whatever the feelings might be. And judging by the quivering sound in your voice, the shaking in your fingers, the beating of the sweat upon your brow, we've got our work cut out for us now. And this is really taking note of the physical manifestations of, you know, stress or anxiety or any issues that our patient or our friend might be facing. Sweating, shaking. This person obviously doesn't feel good. But pay attention to the rising and the falling of your breath. I mean, that's meditation, right? One production note, pay attention to the rising and the falling of your breath. Very intentionally, I wanted to kind of go up and down with that to mimic the rising and the falling of your breath. Just a nice little note. Remember, oftentimes like these will turn out for the best. You know, we oftentimes think of ourselves as better after having gone through some hardship. That's what this part is talking about, essentially. It's talking about after we've been through something, oftentimes we feel like we are better for having gone through that. But we can kind of take solace in that. And it's okay to feel some things. Now and then we need to pull ourselves together, but we could even blame that on the weather. The chorus is basically the ultimate gift that the therapist gives to their patient, talking about how it's okay to have these emotions and you can blame them on anything. They do just tend to pop up out of nowhere, in my experience at least. Oh, it's okay to feel some things, but every time you pull yourself together, take credit for the strength it took to weather it all. And I like the play of weather in two different meanings. You know, things happen, right? Things happen to us. We don't often know why. We don't often know where they came from. We just feel whatever we're feeling, the stress and anxiety out of nowhere oftentimes. Or maybe we do know what it is. But you could blame it on anything. You could even blame it on the weather. It's okay to feel those things. And every time you pull yourself together, right? Every time you get yourself back to where you wanted to be, or at least closer to that, take credit for the strength that it took to get there. So that's what the chorus is about. So this clip I'll show you is actually from September of 23. It's the first relatively complete rendering of me working through the song in a very traditional way. Like this, I wanted to remove all distractions, focus on chords, melody, and form, and that's what you see in this video.
Why don't we start at the beginning once again? Focus on the feelings inside of you that make you want to run, to hide yourself away from the sun. Pay attention to the rising and the falling of your breath. Remember to oftentimes like these turn out for the best. And it's okay to feel some things. Now and then we need to pull ourselves together, but you can go ahead and blame the weather. Oh, it's okay to feel some things, but every time you pull yourself together, take credit for the strength it took to weather it all.
Alright, so I've got the Ableton session pulled up, so I just wanted to go into a little more detail, give you a little behind the scenes on some of my favorite parts. The first thing I want to talk about, or at least look at, is just the guitar on this track. Let's take a look at that.
Why don't we start at the...
So it's two guitars playing both sides with a delay on it. Obviously pretty well affected. The verse vocals in this track are actually two. One's just panned a little to the left and one's to the right a little bit. This is what that looks like.
And focus on the feelings inside of you that make you want to run. Hide yourself away from the sun.
I'm obviously really close to the mic and I'm just trying to give a nice, clean, real performance. I really wanted it to sound like I'm right there with you, with the listener. One of my favorite parts of this song are the choir that's happening behind the lead vocals in the pre-chorus. So this is what those sound like. And that coupled with the actual main vocals sounds like this.
To the rising and the falling of your breath. Remember, often times like these will turn out for the best.
The next thing that I want to get into is the chorus. I remember finding a loop that I thought was really nice here. Let me pull that up. That's obviously been affected. And I remember it reminded me of that Dido song. My tea's gone cold, I'm wondering why. Got out of bed at all. That was just really nostalgic for me. I wanted to do something with that, and I felt like it would kind of fit pretty well underneath this. This is one of the only songs on this record that does actually use electronic drums and samples, so this is what that sounds like. So when you layer all those different levels, you get something pretty unique. Then I put a synth bass on top of that that's just kind of stabby. I believe I'm running it through an arpeggiator that's just hitting one note at a time. And then to tie it all together, I remember listening to Everything's Raw Data Field record. There's a track on that record called Jennifer. It's a fantastic song, definitely worth a listen. One of the more interesting features of this song is an electric guitar with a slide on it. I listened to a podcast of them and just got inspired by it, and I wanted to try using a slide on my own song. This is basically what came out of that. Then it looks like I added an acoustic guitar on top of that. Just to kind of fill it out. It's just a very nice floaty kind of rhythm, and then you throw the vocals on top of it. Yeah, I'm just happy with that. I think that sounds great. One of the last things I'll show is the bridge. I think the bridge turned out really well. There's a couple different things happening. One, there's me, a solo vocal with obviously a bunch of effects and heavy auto-tune panned to the left. And then there's a choir of me's on the right. I wanted to kind of paint a picture of me singing to a choir and them kind of call and response, like working together to make something really neat. There are a lot of tracks on my choir in this section, and this is what that sounds like. Just a lot of them. With my lead on top, panned a little to the left. I don't know necessarily why I chose to use auto-tune on that. Maybe just to give it a different quality than the choir. But I think it turned out really neat. I like it a lot. So the bass I did on my own on that, and this is what that sounds like. You wouldn't think would work on it, but it really does. I mean, put it with the kit, and you got a pretty interesting sound. And then on top of that, you put it all. Keychain. Now and then we need to pull ourselves together, but you can even play. If you want to spice up your chorus, you feel like it's not been run into the ground but has the potential to be, going a half step up with the chorus is a nice way to breathe a little new air into it. So yeah, those are some of my favorite parts from this song. I think that's it. I really like this song. I think I really hit my mark with regard to all of the things I was trying to accomplish. I love the form. I think the form's classic. I like the melody. I think the song is interesting. I employed all of the pop production techniques that I've learned over the years. I just think it's fun to listen to. So thank you so much for making it this far. listening to what I have to say. Once again, if you really like the song, you want to buy the full record right now, you can on my Bandcamp page. I'll have that linked. Make sure you follow me on any social media platform that you're on to stay up to date with all of the future releases. Thank you so much. Have a great week.